You should have followed the word in James 4:7. Be as it may, don't abort. The man must be responsible for his created responsibility. Man, why would I be like this, Seth? Ataya Jare. And that's from Grandma Olainka. Chenwe from Ejigbo is saying, good evening, lady. You want a baby and you're pregnant already. Congratulations. Okay. Brownie from Lagos is saying, hello, Simi. I would have blessed you with a bastinado, knowing fully well the deed has been done, yet asking for a fair advice. Simi, do not embrace cancellation. Just go ahead with the life inside of you, because I believe purpose has led you to the direction you embraced. Okay? This next one is coming from Tantus Segwe, who says, you don't want this, and you also don't want that. You don't want to be a homewrecker. My dear, you have to decide one out of this. In fact, you have no other choice than to get married to him. Afterwards, he's responsible. After all, he's ready to be responsible, Simi, since the deed has been done. Marry him. It's not an issue. Okay, the other part is judgmental, so I'm not going to read that part. The next one is coming from Tokpa from Ikorodu, who says, good evening, my wonderful people. I like reading this type of story after a stressful day to ease off tension in my body. Simi, you're not ready, but already. Come on. Obegomolowo, Omosobenu, Omosobenu. That's it. Obe Tishon Tomashi. Happy married life, Jare. Okay, for context, she's saying a knife cut a child on the hand, and the child threw away the knife, but the knife has already done what the knife will do. That's what she meant in Yoruba, just for translation purposes. So she goes on to say, happy married life, Jerry. And that's from Tokpa from Igurudu. Okay. The next one is from Christian from Agric, who's saying, good evening, everyone. Simi, maybe you should tell us the things you want to do, so let's know how to help you. My candid advice is that you should not abort the innocent child. Also, ensure to inform the father to be about his unborn child. Okay. Patrick from Ikorodu is saying, please keep the baby. My issue is that you know what you want, you did not do it, and here we are. I will advise you to marry the man, and that's from Patrick from Ikorodu. Okay. Elijah from Sulere is saying, only human beings are permitted to make choices. So, Jessime, what are your choices? First, identify yourself first, and then you can make the decision right for you. You can't eat a cake and still want to have it back after when it's already in the stomach. You can and still marry him, and you can and still can't marry him, but you should keep the innocent child and inform him about the pregnancy. Greetings to everyone. All right, Mrs. Akpata from Songwater, Ogun State, is saying, good evening to all adult conversation family members. Dear Simi, please don't abort the pregnancy since he has promised to marry you. Remember that abortion is a sin. I pray God Almighty will see you through. Okay. The next one is coming from Olumide. Olumide says, okay. I'm just going to read this and then we'll talk about this after. He says, you knew from the beginning the man in question is a married man, for crying out loud. Then he placed your love on a deceit, which you allowed to overcloud you and your feelings for him. You can't control it. So fine, the outcome is the innocent child. Then let him know and leave the child. And I wish you safe delivery. Then do naming ceremony. He must be responsible to take care of the baby. If not, pack you and your little one and the heavy ones. If not, pack your little and the heavy ones of your bags and baggages to his house. Shekina, married by force. That's what his erection led him to do. Interesting messages so far. As we proceed into conversation, I'll take more of these messages. And of course, I will, talk a little bit more about the context of some of these messages. But I will say, do not sound judgmental. Now, I know that a good number of us will want to start by saying, oh, Simi should have known. Regardless of what Simi should have known, she's already in this situation right now. She doesn't need more people telling her what she should have known. So all that is past tense. Simi is pregnant now for this married man now. She doesn't want to marry him. He he wants to marry her. She doesn't want to marry him. And she doesn't know what to do. So she's asking what to do. So please give advice based on the story. Do not sound judgmental. This is a very delicate story and it should be treated as such. All right, I'll take this one from Comrade who says, that sister is a good human being. I support you not to marry him. Let him take care of you and set up a business. If you marry him now, the innocent wife will get high BP and your conscience will worry. Don't abort that belly at all. I'm greeting Chinwe Mama King that said men that chicken out from their responsibility. Okay. All right. Now I'll open the phone lines and you can call in and give your advice. Again, the number to call is 07000 Two things. Turn down the volume of your radio and keep your advice short, simple, and constructive without being judgmental. That's it. Hello, good evening.
Good evening, Tonto.
Good evening. Thank you very much for calling. Who am I speaking with?
Yeah, Ray from background.
Ore.
Yeah,
Ore, where are you
how's
calling from,
everyone?
please?
Ray from background.
Ray. Okay. Ray, thank you for calling. How are you today, Ray?
Yeah, how's everything? I'm good. How are you
Good.
too?
Good. Thank you so much. Thank you for
Yeah,
calling.
welcome. Welcome. Um, my advice to Simi is simply this. Um, sometimes in life, you never can tell what will happen to you. And there is nothing that happens without the knowledge of God and
Mm,
without God's plan. Whether He plans to have that child or not, I just want to say that it may not be her wish or decision to have a child now, but what I would tell her is if she, I don't even advise her to be a second wife. One, um, if she knows she cannot marry the man, my candid advice and simple advice is she should keep that baby, nurture that baby, love that child from the depth of her heart because she never can tell what that child will be tomorrow. She never can tell how that child will whatever she never can tell how that child will be a source of joy to her. So my advice is she should keep the pregnancy, but make sure she tells that man that she's pregnant
mm,
for him. Whichever way, whatever happens,
hmm
whether he takes responsibility or not. She says she's a photographer. I
Yes.
pray God will help her, guide her, and send her help. She should just keep that baby, love that child with the whole of her heart,
Mm.
and everything will be fine.
Thank you
That's
so
all
much,
I have to
Ray.
say. I have an experience.
Mm,
That's why I'm saying this. And when my own issue happened, I loved my son from the depth of my heart. I told God, give me a son. And he gave me a son. The father chickened out, didn't take his responsibilities. He left. And today, that boy, although he has an elder sister, but
hmm
my son knows, like, he knows literally everything about me.
mm.
Sincerely. So my advice is she should keep that baby, love that child. When that child is born, she shouldn't take out the father's sins on him or her. She should love that child with the depth from the depth of her heart. And I pray that God will see her through and that child will bring her joy.
Thank
That's
you.
what I can say.
Thank you so
Thank you.
much, Ray. Thank you for calling. Hmm. That is Ray, first caller of the night. And Ray is talking to us about the fact that in this situation, she is advising that Simi not terminate the pregnancy, that she should have the baby, love the baby with all her heart and soul, and tell the man about the pregnancy. She should tell him. Then, if he chooses to be responsible, or whether he doesn't choose to be responsible, she should still have the baby and pray that God will send her help so as to sustain herself and the baby. But she should love the baby with all her heart, and she should not take the sins of the father upon the child when the baby is born, and that God will just be there to hold and assist her as time goes on for herself and the baby. Hello, good evening.
Hello, good evening.
Good evening. Thank you for calling. Please, what's your name and where are you calling from?
Yeah, this is Lucky from Ogba.
Hello, Lucky. Thank you for calling. Wait, are you calling for the first time?
Caller.
Oh, thank you.
I love your program. Just trying
Thank you so much.
This is the first time of hearing it, and I love it. So,
thank you very much.
Just my own opinion is like she have 3 options, and we have to tell her the bitter truth. The bitter truth is like she's now led to her to choose whether to marry the man, and she become a breaker, because automatically you marry that man, you are breaking someone home.
Okay.
Number 2, if you have got the baby, she must know that I have to be a mother by killing innocent baby. I get me. The third one is to run away with the baby and make that baby a fatherless. Because that's the only way. She's not let to have to choose. Because, you have 3 options now. You marry the man, automatically you have already break someone's house. But if you want to settle all the matter by adopting the baby, and by do the abortion, that automatically is a killer or murderer. Or you should hold that baby by running away and make the baby a fatherless, because that's only 3 options. Thank you so much.
There's one option that you're forgetting.
Okay, which one?
Which is have the baby and co-parent with the man. You don't have to marry him. The man can be present as a father in the baby's life without you being married to him.
So that's the option. My sister, no matter what, you can't hide it forever. I'm also a man.
You won't hide it, in the sense that the man may not tell his wife about it.
Knows?
Well, if she knows, at the end of the day, it won't stay a secret forever. But the point remains that if the man doesn't want to tell the wife, and the wife and Simi herself doesn't want to tell the wife, then they keep it for as long as they can. It's not Simi's responsibility to tell the wife. It's the man's responsibility to tell his wife.
Is like not all the women are the same.
No, totally. Again, this is something that both Simi and the married man did together. Simi has taken responsibility, and she has said that this is my fault. Don't judge me. I don't know how I got here, basically. But the point remains that she has done it. I just needed to point out the fact that that's a 4th option. That's a 4th option, and it's one that is put all of the options before Simi, so that she can make good decision. Well, thank you very much, Lucky. Thank you for calling.
Thank you so much.
Okay, so that's Lucky, and he basically talked about the fact that Simi doesn't have too many options, that she can either abort the baby, be a homewrecker by marrying the man, or move away with the baby and not make the baby have a father figure in his life. To which I mentioned, well, these are 3 options. Obviously, Simi has said she doesn't want to do the first 2, which is be a homewrecker and abort the baby. So that leaves run away with the baby and make the baby without a father figure, according to Lucky. And also, that's when I pose the 4th option. They can totally co-parent the baby after Simi has the baby if she chooses to have the baby. So this is Adult Conversations, and the phone lines are buzzing. Thank you very much for calling, and just keep the messages coming in, keep the calls coming in, and we will be right back.
Money to go to the hospital. Tola, you still need money to go to the hospital? We're in the era of health insurance. Health insurance? Yes. You do know that illnesses never let you know when they're coming, but Ives Health Insurance offers financial cover in times like this.
Really? What am I waiting for? I'm off to get my Ives Health Insurance.
Trust me, Tola. Ives Medicare HMO Limited is competent, reliable, and they never joke with the health of their clients. They have different types of health plans for corporate bodies, communities, schools, hotel guests, travelers, individuals, individuals and families. Ives Medicare is located at Hope Plaza, number 2, Osho Street, Okwebi, Ikeja, Lagos. For more information, please call 080 921 65592, 081 476 17220, and 080 326 39058.
Ives Medicare. Health protection in your colors.
Radio Doctor on WFM 91.7 every Tuesday from 10 to 11 a.m. brings you medical experts specialized in women's health.
If you're a 28-day cycle person, just count forward on your day 14, you will ovulate.
Call in to get free consultation on women's health on 07000 917 917 and 090-256-25455. You can send in questions, cases, and related contributions on social media, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at WFM917. Text and WhatsApp to 070-317-56537. You can listen live online on www.wfm917.com. Radio Doctor, Nigeria's first free consultation radio health program on WFM 91.7.
There's some sort of lack of professionalism in this because we're talking about 100 lives.
Government has to also put in place a structure to make it look like what they have in mind.
How do we stop crime in the society? Because at the end of the day, if a man cannot provide for his wife anymore, he looks for other means. We should address Nigerian problems.
Yes, Panorama. Mondays through Fridays from 9:15 a.m. And WFM 91.7 will bring you ladies from across Nigeria's political zones, dissecting, discussing, and disagreeing on topical issues of the day. You too can join the conversation by tweeting us at WFM917 with the hashtag Panorama. WFM 91.7, the voice of women.
Our world is threatened by terrorism, wars, killings, and various vices.
Its effects are mostly felt by women and girls.
Peace and security is a collective responsibility as it concerns women, girls, men, and boys. Join ONEP
on Women's Voices for Peace every Tuesday at 3 p.m.
on Women Radio WFM 91.7 as we engage on issues of women, peace, and security.
On Women's Voices for Peace
on Women Radio WFM 91.7.
Still Adult Conversations on your Women Radio, WFM 91.7. And this is 18 minutes to the hour of 10. Tonight we're profiling Simi's story. And in case you're just joining, this is the story. Simi says, my name is Simi, I'm 27 and a photographer. Please don't judge me. I am pregnant for a married man. Although he said he wants to marry me, I don't want to marry him. I don't want to be a homewrecker, and I don't want to abort the baby. Please, what should I do? And that's Simi's story tonight. She's 27, she's a photographer, she's pregnant for a married man. She doesn't want to marry him, even though he wants to marry her. And she has said specifically that she doesn't want to be a homewrecker, and she doesn't want to abort the baby. So what to do is the next thing. Simi is asking for your advice. So kindly give her some advice without sounding judgmental. Give her some constructive advice without sounding judgmental. Thank you. Hello, good evening. Hello, good evening.
Hello, good evening.
Good evening. Thank you for calling. Please, what's your name and where are you calling from?
Please, from Oba.
Okay. Hello, Christopher. Thank you for calling.
Thank you. So, my advice to the girl is the deed has been done already. So, I would advise her to let the man know that she's pregnant for him.
Mm-hmm.
Then, if the man accepts or not, but to me, I don't advise her to go ahead and marry the man. If she goes ahead and marry the man, she has breaking a home. So the only thing that is let the man know that she's pregnant for him, then let her keep the baby, because don't know what the baby is become in future. But if you try abort the baby, shall become a killer. So that is to keep the baby. God will provide. God will make a way for her and provide what he used to train the baby. Thank you.
Thank you, Chris. Okay, Christopher from Ogba. And he's saying that Simi should not abort the baby. He's saying that in this case, he's advising that Simi should just tell the man that she's pregnant, but not marry him. She should tell him she's pregnant. She should not marry him because that would mean that she will break his home, and that she should also not abort the baby. But she should let him know about the pregnancy, and so that he can contribute to raising the child, basically, and also fulfilling financial responsibility. I do need to say this, though. This is the second person today that is saying if she aborts the baby, she's a killer, she's a murderer. Again, that might be fact to you, and that your opinion is definitely valid. But please do not sound in that manner. You can say, oh, abortion is wrong, she shouldn't do that. It's not right for her to terminate the pregnancy. You can put it in that way. But when you say that she's a murderer, she's a killer if she aborts the baby, again, that tone just sounds very harsh and very judgmental. This is somebody who's in a delicate mental state, doesn't know what to do. He's already beaten herself up, most likely, about the entire incident. And now she doesn't need any added salt on this injury. So please, let's be more tactful and more compassionate when giving advice. Thank you. Now, to a large extent, the option of marrying the man is on the table. The option of marrying the man is on the table because Simi has said he wants to marry her, but she doesn't want to marry him. She doesn't want to marry him because she said she doesn't want to be a homewrecker, which is why she has said she doesn't want to marry him. But he wants to marry her. Now, for somebody who has offered her marriage, now I don't know if this was before she got pregnant or after the pregnancy. Again, we don't know if she has told him that she's pregnant. So, Simi, if you're listening, let us know if you have had this conversation with the man and if marriage is still on the table, even after he knows that you're pregnant. But if you've not told him, let's know if he proposed marriage to you before you got pregnant. The reason I'm asking this is if marriage is still on the table after the pregnancy, after he's aware of the pregnancy, then that means that he's serious about marrying you, about marrying Simi. And we need to take that into cognizance. Hello, good evening.
Hello.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Comrade.
Hello, comrade.
Comrade, thank you for calling. How are you today?
Well done. How work today?
Work is good. Work is good. Thank you.
Well done. The first caller, I'll say it all. Are you hearing me?
Yes.
Now, what I want to tell you now is, say, may God bless that woman. We get it, but my own problem. Let that man open that and find a way to go job because that woman is in psychological and the physiological and the mental innuendo. What I mean by innuendo means she is thinking, say, who will help me carry this belly or who will help me feed this child? As he said, no go marry that man, make him no marry him because if he scatter that family, God will not go forgive him. So let that man set up a business for her because as we are discussing now, we don't know what in the world go. We don't know how he's managing with the pregnancy.
She's a photographer.
So make him
we don't know how big her business is, but she says she's a photographer. She takes pictures for a living.
You know, not everything they provide you for us, but we are advising what we hear.
Yes.
My own be say, let them set up something that at least you could take the job Amala and the drink Gary. You hear me?
Thank you, comrade.
Maybe saying about the finish now, you're going to do what we call baby mama. Baby mama, baby papa. The man will call this in work now. Go to meet him. Take a look at that one.
That's not up to Simi. That is not up to Simi to decide.
Okay.
Comrade, that's not up to Simi to decide now. If the baby comes and the man decides he wants to be coming to see her from time to time because of the baby, isn't that what he's supposed to do?
The man will go and go sleep there. I know someone to make him go sleep there.
again,
they
that
can
is
go and see
that
that.
that
They don't sleep
advice,
here.
comrade. Don't you think that
Okay.
advice should be directed at the man?
You see this thing where this man is pass now this man is cut him, now this man is cut him. And he must pay by losing not less than 5 million naira and they open this woman business to settle her. Everybody talk.
I understand. Thank you
I'm
so
not
much,
supposed to
comrade.
abortion.
Thank you for calling.
I'm not supposed to abortion. After all of us, nobody is perfect. That was the time where I go out of my one girl for stage when we dance. Now my wife, you know, talk to me for 3 days, so nobody is perfect. But the moment I pregnant somebody, you only hug, I go hug for stage. You only hug, I go hug. But everything don't settle. So make him on the begin, make the man settle him, make him no do abortion. Now my own. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. All right, so that's comrade. He's saying that in addition to telling the man about the baby, Simi should ensure to a large extent, I think that's what he's saying. He's saying that the man needs to open a business for Simi because he thinks that Simi is more, she doesn't feel too good about the situation, largely because of the financial aspect of it. She's worried about how she's going to take care of the baby and everything that concerns raising the baby and taking care of the baby, which largely revolves around money. So he's saying that now that the man has had his hand in this particular pie, that he needs to take responsibility by taking responsibility for the baby, but to a large extent, setting up a business for Simi. He's saying that the man should set up a business for Simi so that Simi can have what to use to take care of the baby. So thank you very much, comrade. Thank you for that. All right. So I'm hoping that we still get a response from Simi as regards whether or not this man knows about the baby. If he knows about the baby and marriage is still on the table, we don't know what religion he's from. We don't know if he's the kind of person that is of the faith where he can marry more than one wife. So do we think that if that's an option, that Simi should take it? Do we think that that's something she can take if his religion allows it? Do we think that that's an option that she can take or not? Also, the subject of Simi not wanting to be a homewrecker is one that we cannot just we cannot eliminate that from the process. But then again, there's a baby involved here who needs a father in his life or in her life. So what happens now that there's a baby involved and this baby needs the presence of a father figure? What is the action to take? Hello, good evening. Okay, if you can, please call back. Hello, good evening. Hello?
Hello, good evening.
Good evening. Thank you for calling.
Yeah, I call back.
Okay.
From Oba. I want to know, since the man is insisting for marriage, I don't know the background. Is he a Muslim or a Christian?
That's what I just asked. We haven't gotten a response yet.
Then if it is a Muslim, look, for Muslim people, they marry up to 2 to 3 wives. And it should be an agreement between the man and the first wife and the girl that is pregnant. So let the man call the first wife. If he is really want to marry the lady, let the man call it the first wife. I have given someone outside and I want to marry her. Then I'm sure if the woman agrees, let the lady go ahead and marry the man.
Okay, thank you very much, Christopher. In this situation, Christopher is saying that if the man's religion allows him to marry a second wife, he needs to take that decision with his wife and with the knowledge of the new person who is Simi in this context. So he's saying the man needs to talk to his first wife, decide if they are okay with taking a second wife, and then talk to Simi about bringing her as a new wife into the family. But he shouldn't take that decision without the knowledge of his first wife. That's what Christopher is saying. Hello, good evening.
Hello, good evening, my sister.
Good evening. Thank you for calling.
Okay, yeah, I called back. Yeah. Sorry. Hello?
Okay, Lucky, very quickly, please.
Let me believe. So My sister, I listened to your last conversation about the man concerning the innocent baby. If you don't want to be biased, or the general advice to my own thing, you should to marry that man if that man is Muslim, and if that man is a Christian, should allow that man to introduce it to his wife because of innocent child. Because the word of innocent is not overseen everything. So my little advice, all of them have to pay for that innocence. Because if you run away with the baby, at the end of the day, you will hold the baby in future. If you kill that baby, you say it's not good, it's a sin. And the better way is to, you may not marry the man, but maybe the man have to stay with, they have to stay with him because of that innocent baby. But it's very hot. Because me, I also a married man, and to me, that's the best option because of that innocent baby. I marry the man.
Thank you very much,
so
Lucky.
the man will beg his wife. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Okay. So Lucky is saying that if the man is a Muslim, he can talk to his wife and marry Simi. But if not, if the man is a Christian, then he needs to own up to the situation with his wife and take responsibility for the baby. Introduce the baby to the wife. Let the woman know, his wife now, that he has a baby on the way by Simi. He's saying this because the baby is innocent and the baby doesn't deserve to pay for the sins of the parents. So he's saying the man should beg his wife and accept responsibility of both Simi and the baby, if he's a Christian and cannot marry Simi by religion. Hello, good evening.
I'll come back 1 minute.
Okay, very quickly.
I don't support the Jamie that lady who pregnant to marry that man because nobody know whether the man is even eating Gary, whether he's even eating. If you come and marry, maybe you come become double marriage and a double tragedy. I feel reiterate again because I understand that English. It's not retreat, it's a retreat. So I will reiterate again that he should open business for this woman. He can see take care of his child without the child even staying there with his mama.
Comrade, I hear waiting the talk, but you know supposed to call back. Comrade, hold on. Comrade, they hear my own. They hear my own. They hear me.
Okay.
You know, say we don't talk this matter several times. Say you know, suppose they talk about another person's opinion. You don't give your own. Breeze don't blow, and you don't do okay. But if you want call back again, just present your own. No talk say you know they in agreement. You know say we know they like that kind of thing. I beg. Thank you very much, comrade. You don't already talk him now. You say, "Messi me no marry her. Make she just day her house. Make the man set up business for her. Make the baby day with her." You don't talk him. I don't hear you. No worry. I dey hear waiting the talk. I dey hear you.
Can I see repeat that again?
No need, comrade. We don't hear.
If that woman is hear you, if they hear, they make you nobody that man.
Comrade, not be only your advice, then they hear for year.
Okay, no problem.
Not be only your advice. Everybody's advice is welcome. As long as you put it in a constructive way that does not demean Simi or just debase her in any way. We need to be responsible here as adults because this is adult conversations. So please, when you put forth your advice, make sure you put it in a constructive manner. Thank you very much. Okay. Also, this is a disclaimer for the people in the WhatsApp group. Please make sure not to sound judgmental when giving advice. This is 2 minutes to the hour of 10 on Your Women Radio, WFM 91.7. And tonight we're discussing Simi's story. Simi's telling us that she's 27, she's a photographer, and at the moment she's pregnant for a married man. Literally in the story, she says, "Please don't judge me." So if you're judging, you're already putting Simi, you're already painting her black and putting her in handcuffs. So please do not do that. She goes on to say that she doesn't want to marry the man, but he wants to marry her. This is where I asked, does he want to marry you knowing that you're pregnant? Or did he promise you marriage? Excuse me? Or did he promise you marriage before you got pregnant? We haven't gotten a response for that yet. Simi says she doesn't want to break his home, but she also doesn't want to abort the baby. So what should she do? Call the number 07000 917 917 and send a text or a WhatsApp message to 0703 175 6537. Hello, good evening.
Hello, good evening.
Good evening. Thank you for calling. Hello? Please do well to call back if you can. Okay. I don't know where to begin about this particular subject. But there are some things that she has mentioned in the story about the fact that the man has offered her marriage and the fact that she doesn't want to abort the baby. Now, in this situation, she doesn't know what to do. If you have been in this situation before, now would be a really good time to call in and to give Simi some really practical advice. What can she do that will not endanger her or the baby and give them at least a semblance or to a large extent a good existence, a good life, a good life? What can she do? Hello, good evening.
Hi, good evening.
Good evening, thank you for calling.
Hello, good evening.
Yes, what's your name and where are you calling from, please?
Joy from Ajumo.
Joy
First
from
time caller,
Ajumo.
actually.
Oh, wonderful, thank you.
Yep.
Yes, thank you so much. Please go ahead, Joy.
Okay, actually, my advice for Simi is she should know that she's not the only one that has made such mistake. And she shouldn't let it weigh herself down. Obviously, it's going to be so difficult for her to take right now. And secondly, I go along with the first caller. She shouldn't go into the marriage. One, she is still, let me say, she's still very young. She's 27. She's still young and she still has a long way to go. God has blessed her with this fruit of womb that she has currently. She already said it that she doesn't want to be an home breaker or she doesn't want to abort the baby. Then she's good to go. The only thing she has to do is letting the man know that only if the man isn't aware at the moment currently that she is pregnant.
Okay.
Letting the man know that she's pregnant. But if the man knows that she's pregnant, then she shouldn't insist on getting married to the man. There are many young ladies out there that are giving that same way she has, that has a child same way she has, and then they still meet a very lucky man who end up getting them, marrying them, and taking them as their wife and loving the child. Now, as the first caller said, she should take that child, love that child, take her as her own, and then she shouldn't use the wrath of the man. She shouldn't use the thought of the man, everything that happened to bounce on that child. Because what I see is, I guess probably she never knew that man was married. Because I'm so sure if she knew that man was married, she wouldn't have gone into such a relationship with the man. Because she's saying that she doesn't want to abort that child or be a homebreaker, then obviously she doesn't know that man was married. And what I equally see again is that I guess that man is a little bit wealthy, like he has money at hand. Then yes, he should set up a business for her. She should tell the man, and then the man
Joy?
for her, and then hello, can you hear me?
Yes.
She should set up a home for her, and then set up a business for her, and then fine, he can always come around to check up on the child. Mind you, she shouldn't go into that marriage. She should just be with her child, and then God will always sustain her.
Thank
She's
you
not
so
the
much,
best,
Joy.
and she would never be the last. She shouldn't get herself too worried about it.
Thank you.
That's just my own advice.
I appreciate it.
I
Thank
really
you very
believe
much.
that God is actually going to sustain her. It's certain, because God has always been doing it. He hasn't failed anybody. So he's going to fail her now that she's in this present condition.
Thank you so much.
What I just feel for her is our family, what they are going to say and how they are going to react to the issue. But they shouldn't push her to get married to the man, because the man is married. I'm so sure the man is married with children, not just with a child. So how will those children take it? How will the wife take it? Not everybody can be lenient. Not every.
Thank you very much, Joy. Joy really did make some valid points. She's in support of the fact that Simi should talk to the man about it if he's not aware already about the baby, and then make sure to a large extent that the man contributes to the welfare and upkeep of the baby by setting up a business for her, setting up a home for her so that he can take care of the baby, so that she can take care of the baby, and he can come in from time to time to co-parent and to be there for the baby, to fulfill the baby's paternal needs, but not necessarily as a married couple. So she's saying don't marry the man, but ensure that he's aware and involved in the upkeep and upbringing of the baby. She's also saying that she's sure to a large extent that the man possibly did not tell Simi that she's married. So Simi possibly didn't know that he's married. Now, that's a possibility, but we don't know if that's the case. We cannot just alienate Simi from all responsibility and make that the only case. It's possible. There's no denying that. But it's also possible that that's not the case. So people go into these kind of things for different reasons. She may have not known that he was pregnant, at the same that he was married rather. At the same time, she may have known, but she just did not expect to get pregnant. So things like this happen again. Like Joy said, she's not the first person, neither will she be the last person. So let us be just compassionate about giving advice. Joy also said that she should just be not too worked up. She should not get herself too worked up about this situation, because God will continue to provide for her. All right. Thank you very much, Joy. Hello. Good evening. Hello.
Good evening. Good evening, Santo.
Good evening.
I called back.
Okay. Very quickly, please.
Yeah. Okay. I want to add to what Joy just said now.
Okay.
Now, but first and foremost, I want to, because Simi, there are some things Simi didn't tell us, like she staying with her parents. Does she have an office, no matter how small, where she operates a photography business? You understand?
Okay.
Now, like you mentioned, like I said when I called earlier, I'm a single mother. It happened. My own happened when I was I was younger than
Simi right now. Okay.
And yes, right now I was younger than Simi when my own happened, and that time I was naive. The person I got pregnant for knew he was responsible for my pregnancy, but he walked away until the baby was like 2-3 years. They now came back to say that he knew that he was the father of the child. While he was talking, my father was saying, I told my father, let him get the hair out, because he knew he was responsible and he chose to walk away. My child is grown up now. So what I want to say to Simi is this. I'm a photographer as well. I'm a photographer. I just came in from shooting a movie for one of the Nollywood stars.
Okay.
All Simi needs right now, sincerely, is love. Not anybody condemning her, not anybody judging her, not anybody saying some things. I mean, right now, Simi is confused. She doesn't even know what to do. She doesn't even. I can imagine her state right now. I can imagine what she's going through. Psychologically, she's not stable. You understand?
Absolutely.
All Simi needs right now
is
love and care.
Okay. Well, let me just, because of time, so we can take other calls.
Yes.
Ray, I appreciate your point of view.
I wish I can have her number or send her my number so we'll talk. You know, we don't need to say something like that. If Simi, whether the man is a Muslim or a Christian, if Simi doesn't want to marry the man, nobody should force her to marry the man. Just like Joy said, she's not going to be the first, neither will she be the last. All I will say is, the man, she should just let the man know. The man should take responsibility. And if he chose not to take responsibility, Simi, please, so if you are listening, don't be prepared. God is in control.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Ray. See, this is a real story. Whenever we say a real stories from real life people, it's not a joke. It's not a joke. To a large extent, some of these ways that we relay advice, we may not necessarily put it this way if this happens to people that we know. So please, let's be very compassionate when we give advice and very delicate with things like this. Ray basically added that she shouldn't marry him because she doesn't want to be a homewrecker, but she should definitely just let the man know about it and ensure that he takes responsibility. And if he doesn't, she's going to be okay eventually. She says what she needs now is love and care and support. So, yes, thank you very much for that, Ray. Hello, good evening. Hello, good evening.
Hello, good evening.
Good evening. Thank you for calling.
Okay, my name is Olayinka.
Olayinka, where are you calling from?
I'm calling from Ogudu right now.
Okay.
Please
go ahead.
I just want to say that I listened to Simi's story, okay, and it's a pathetic one if you ask me, okay. Just as Simi has requested, it is wrong for anybody to judge anybody, okay, because we all have our mistakes, our errors at some point. Nobody's perfect, so nobody's going to judge Simi here, okay.
Okay.
But my own strong advice for Simi here now is as she has taken that decision not to abort the baby, I think that is fine. As we all know that abortion is not too good, it's not acceptable. Whichever way we want to look at it from is bad. Okay, so she shouldn't opt for that. And it's good as she said to abort the baby. Okay, but aside from that, if the man insists he wants to marry Simi, and if Simi feels we don't know what something that has happened in between, okay? So if the man says he wants to marry Simi and if Simi sees some seriousness in the man, why not? Why not? She can marry him. As long as the man feels he wants to marry Simi and is ready to face whatever that's going to come out of it, it's fine. It's fine. We all are going to meet one way or the other. But whichever way they have met. What has happened has happened. Okay? So if the man likes me enough or loves me enough to marry her, so be it. As long as it goes down well with me, it's not a crime, it's fine.
Yes,
it's fine.
It doesn't go down well with her, actually, because she's saying that she doesn't want to marry him because she doesn't want to be a homewrecker.
My sister, as far as I'm concerned, my candid opinion, okay, it's nothing like home breaker here. Nobody's breaking anybody's home here. We actually don't know how the man and Simi met. Fine. Okay, we don't need to be going into all of that. They've met and they've met. And what has happened is fine. Okay, if the man loves Simi enough, okay, to marry Simi, fine. And if Simi says she doesn't want to marry him too, it's good. It's good. So the sun lies between both of them. Okay, what has happened. Simi is fine. Simi is cool. It's good. As long as she doesn't want to abort the baby, it's fine. It's fine.
Okay, thank you very much, Olayinka. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Okay, Olayinka calling from Ogudu right now is saying that in this situation, he feels that Simi should be in the best place to make the decision. He's saying she really should not be judged. He's saying that anybody can make this kind of mistake. He's also saying that if Simi chooses not to marry the man, that's fine. But if the man loves her enough to want to marry her, then it's something that she can consider and maybe even marry him at the end of the day, regardless of what it comes with. He's also saying that Simi and the man and the married man in question now need to take this decision together. All right, Comrade is saying when she born the baby, she must have something doing, which is why the man should set up a business for her. The first caller has said so. My own is let that man give her business. He also said, I said it, she's psychologically down, but I feel she has gotten some advice, okay? And Fred from Ikeja, I believe, yes, is saying, good evening, my good sister. I don't get it when you always say don't judge. If I do something wrong, which I myself know this thing is not the way I should do it, what do you think people will say when the result comes out? Especially if I'm an adult. Some will first judge me before telling me this is what to do. My advice is let her do what she thinks is good for her and her safety. Also, he's asking why doesn't Simi want to marry him? Doesn't she love him or what exactly? Again, the answer to that is she doesn't want to be a home breaker. Hello, good evening.
Hello.
Good evening. Thank you for calling. Please, what's your name and where are you calling from?
Good evening, Tonto.
Good evening.
How is work? How
Work
was
is
the
good.
day?
Work is good. Thank you very much.
This is Henry calling you from Ikorodu.
Henry, thank you for calling. Hope you had a good day.
Thank God. And you?
I did too. Thank you so much.
Yeah. So, my dear sister, based on the story, actually, nobody should judge anybody because most of those things happen. You understand? Are you with me?
Of course.
Hello?
Of course, I'm with you. I'm with you, Henry. Please go ahead.
Okay. So, the only advice I would advise the lady is just that to him, I don't want to know if the guy himself is aware that she's pregnant. If the guy is aware, I believe they should just sit down and have a one-on-one discussion. Since he doesn't want to marry that man, because anything that has to do with marriage comes from the heart. It's not something that anybody can force anybody into. Are you with me?
Yes.
So once you have that discussion with the man, that's okay, fine, I'm ready to keep this baby, but I'm not getting married to you. If the man will follow her decision, fine. If not enough for her decision, fine, because I won't advise her to go and abort the baby because you don't know what that baby will become tomorrow.
Okay, so what is your advice, Henry? What's your advice?
My own advice is you should keep the baby. That is number one. And let the man know that she's pregnant. Are you getting me?
Okay. Thank you very
Are you
much,
with me?
Henry. Yes, I'm with you.
So because the reason why I think this is that even the wife, the person I got married to, she had a baby before I got married to her.
Okay.
For another man. And the baby was 2 years old then. So I accepted that and accepted the baby. And the baby is with me, with my own children together. And everybody are living as one happy family. So I didn't take this one and maybe this is not my child or this one is not my child. If that man is not ready to, he just calm down, give birth to the baby, God will provide what she will use to take care of that baby. I believe a man that will love her and love her baby will come her way.
Thank
the
you.
nearest future because she still has a long way to go.
Thank
honestly.
you so much, Harry. Thank you.
I really feel for her, honestly. But I know she's doing a lot of things. Now, a lot of things will go into her mind now, honestly.
Thank you so much.
So,
Harry at this point is saying that he doesn't think that Simi should abort the baby, that he thinks that she should talk to the man about it and they should both decide on what to do, or at least let the man know that she's carrying a baby for him. And then if he decides to marry her, then all well and good. If he doesn't want to marry her, and particularly if she doesn't want to marry him, Henry is saying that she can just have the baby by herself because he doesn't think that it's okay for her to abort the baby. So he's saying that she can have the baby and then she can go on with her life. And hopefully the man also takes responsibility and supports her. But if he doesn't, she should hold on to the baby and God will just sustain her and the child and also bring a man who would love her and take care of her and the child, just as he has done for his wife who had a baby outside of wedlock before they got married. So that is Henry's advice to Simi. Hello, good evening.
Hello, Central. Good evening.
Good evening, Deacon Ben.
Yeah.
Thank you for calling. Hope you had a good Monday.
Yes, I did. How are you coping with
this job not easy, but you're trying anyway.
Thank you very much.
So, Papa, how you doing?
I'm okay. I'm good. Thank you.
It's all right. The Lord is your strength.
Thank you so much.
All right. You know why most times people are afraid of this kind of things? What the society will say, what the family will say, what will people say about it generally? But they have forgotten that if we all are to consider other people's opinion about us before we do anything, we can live our life. So, essentially, I think this is part of our dilemma now. As she said, nobody should judge her. Nobody has the right to judge anyone. That is why God has given us conscience. A wise man once said that conscience is an open wound. Only truth can heal it. True or false?
Very true.
That's true. So, the deed has been done. My main concern is the child in question. So, I'm going to advise her right away.
Okay.
Keep the baby. Definitely the child is going to ask questions. Who is my father? And this is where wisdom comes in. Make sure you document everything going on between you and this man. Whether or not you have decided to marry this man or not. Make sure you have a photograph of this man. Make sure you have everything that has to do with this man's identity, where he comes from, his family background, his brothers, his sisters, his job, his business, everything. Keep it intact. Because your child tomorrow will ask you, who is my father? And you're going to produce the picture of this man and say, this is your father. It is left for the child to begin to trace the father. I'm saying this just in case the man tries to do something funny, or you self, you try to do something funny. I don't want to let him go. I want to keep. No. The child must act. And it is your responsibility to explain to this child who the father is. That's number one. Number two, I'm in agreement with what Comrade said. The man should establish a business for this woman. She made it clear, I don't want to marry this man. She said it. And I don't think anybody is forcing her to do so. Okay? The fact that she doesn't want to marry the man, she needs to understand that single mother, when it comes to single mother, bringing up a child is not a child's play. It is not a child's play symptom. You've got to be emotionally strong. You're going to be determined. You just have to make sure that you are there for the child. Sometimes you get worked up. If you're quarreling with yourself, I know what I'm talking about. Interview a lot of single mothers. They'll tell you that come a time in their life, they wish this thing never happened. But it's a phase. You'll pass through it. There are great men and women today that their mother will look back and say, thank God I did not abort this child. But presently now, it seems like a storm. So if she's listening to me, you've made a very good choice by saying, I don't want to abort the baby. Keep the baby, because you never can tell what tomorrow holds for that child. So, but the child upbringing is key. Okay? So that's my concern. So if you can convince this man to get a business for you, that would be fine. If you can convince him also to get a place for you to live, there you'll be comfortable with your child, that'll be fine. Then you pray and trust God. Things will change for better. God bless you something. That's my advice.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Dikemben. Okay. So Dikemben is basically saying, number one, Simi needs to let the man know about the pregnancy and do her best to get him to set up a business for her. And if possible, also get her an apartment where she can stay comfortably with the baby. He's also saying he feels like it's a good idea not to have Simi abort the baby, that it's a good idea that she has decided not to abort the baby because you don't know who the baby is going to be and where the baby is going to go in the future. He also said, document everything about this man. Document everything about him, conversations you're having now, references as to where he's from, who he is, the kind of person he is, pictures as well, because there will come a day that this child will want to know the identity of the father. And in such a situation, all this evidence will come into play at that point. All right, so very quickly, I'm going to go on Facebook and read some Facebook messages. Then I'll take some more messages and come back to the phone lines. Nancy Mba Ikbazu from Facebook is saying, you've already made a choice not to terminate the pregnancy and not to marry him. So go ahead and have your baby. Okay. Loveth is sounding very judgmental. She's saying you don't want to marry him. You don't want to be a homewrecker. Just, okay, I can't read that. No, thanks. Bolaji Ibitayo is saying, sorry, you may be confused because you don't know what you want. Oluwagbemega Joshua Babalowo is saying, be a single mother. Don't abort. That baby may be your only baby on earth. Accept your cross and move on. Oluwashe is saying, the only option left is to be a single mother. Okay. Okay, yes, that's all from Facebook. All right, there's one more actually. I'm going to read that one. That one says, hi, I'm Edwin by name. She should just give birth to the baby if the man is ready to take full responsibility on her and the baby. So additional messages coming in from WhatsApp. Toye is saying, good evening, Somto. I trust you're doing just fine. To start with, Simi should stop thinking about not wanting to be a homewrecker because that is no longer within her control. Now, what needs to be done is for Simi not to waste any further time in letting the man know about the pregnancy. But she should also state her terms by letting the man know that she wouldn't want to be married to him, but she needs him to play the role of a father in the life of the child. In addition, it's about time Simi told her family about the pregnancy and see what can be done to help her in case of any eventualities that may be out of her control. I wish her well. Thank you very much, Tony. Brownie from Lagos is saying, note that in situations like this, it will always look like everyone is being judgmental on her, but not, because delivery the originality in you will always look false rather than embracing her flaws. You also understand the point of every corner. Simi, please keep the baby. Okay, I'm going to quickly address the point of being judgmental. In the context of being judgmental, we always say this. Don't judge. Meaning, don't be the first person or don't cast any stones, basically. Don't cast any stones because the truth of the matter is nobody's better than the other person. You might be you might be sinning your own sin, whatever it is in secret. You could have your own issues. And when your issues are brought to the fore like this for everyone to hear, nobody needs to be further, what's the word now? Nobody needs to be further, beaten down because of something that has happened to them. Our job is to give advice. You can give advice without sounding judgmental. You can give advice without saying, but didn't you know about this before you did it? The person already knows that. We don't need extra of that. To a large extent, you can even say, but you know about it before you did it, without saying, but you know about it before you did it. you can say, oh, from previous experience, you could have been aware that this would have been the case when you were going about this. But since the deed has been done, which a number of callers today have done, that is called tact and it's called compassion. So please, for the sake of adult conversations for today and going forward as well, it's important. And I'm addressing this because on the adult conversations platform, there's an entire conversation going on there about the whole judgmental situation. There's a whole message I'm not even going to read at all because of how judgmental it sounds. So I'm not going to read that message at all because of how judgmental that message sounds. So I'm completely ignoring it. Thank you for sending it, but next time when you send in a message, please make sure not to sound judgmental. So I'm going to move on from that so we can go on with the conversation. In case you're just joining, this is 10:30. And at this point, I would like to reintroduce the story for the benefit of those who are just joining us in Adult Conversations. This is Adult Conversations where we share real life issues from real life people and we give advice. You give advice. Tonight we're profiling Simi's story. Simi is 27. She's a photographer. She's pregnant for a married man. Although the married man has said he wants to marry her, Simi doesn't want to marry him. She doesn't want to be a home wrecker. And she also doesn't want to abort the baby. So she's asking, what should I do? There are ways of presenting the solution to this, or at least your best advice to this, without saying, but you shouldn't have spread your legs and you shouldn't have done this or you should have done that. No, all that is past tense. What is the way to go forward? So if you have any good advice for Simi, the number to call is 07000 917 917. 07000 917 917. That's the number to call. You can also send in your text or WhatsApp messages onto 0703 175 6537. 0703 175 6537. Okay, so very quickly, I'm going to go through some of those messages again and just, highlight some things that I saw earlier before we started taking calls. But please kindly keep the calls coming in so that we can actually hear from people and you can give advice to Simi. Hello, good evening.
Hello, good evening.
Good evening. Thank you very much for calling. Please, what's your name?
My name is Wumi.
Tell me your name again, please.
Wumi.
Wumi, where are you calling from?
From Ogun State.
Where in Ogun State, please? Mowe, fantastic. Thank you. Wumi, are you calling for the first time?
Yeah.
Oh, beautiful.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yes, please go ahead.
Yeah. According to the story, in the first place, I will not judge her because it could happen to anybody. But in this case, that it has happened, the best thing is for her to let the man know that she's pregnant and she's going to keep the baby. But she's not going to marry him. And then anything the man can do on top of the baby, then he's free to do it. And he should make sure he provides an environment that is comfortable for she and a baby. So, and it's best known for the man what next to do. Because one thing is sure, that one day will be one day that the legal wife of that man will surely know that he has a baby outside the wedlock. So the ball is in their court. Let them sit down and talk it out. Then they should know the way forward.
Okay.
But she should know that being a single mother, it is not easy at all. At all, not the day job.
Absolutely. Thank you very much, Mommy. I appreciate your calling.
You're welcome.
All right. Wumi from Moe is saying that in this case, the ball is in the court of both Simi, and the married man in this situation. She's saying that both of them need to sit down and talk about it. Simi needs to tell the man about the pregnancy. He needs to know that she's pregnant, and he needs to step up to to some level as regards providing for Simi and the baby. So whatever he can do, if he can, whatever he can do to make Simi and her baby comfortable, he should do that for their benefit. She's also saying there's nothing new under the sun, so Simi doesn't deserve to be judged. She's also saying that there is no way that at some point the married man's actual wife is going to find out about the baby or the child, however grown the child would have been at that time. So knowing that it will still come out into the light one day, the married man and Simi should sit down together and decide on what to do next. All right, thank you very much, Wumi. Thank you for calling. Emmanuel from Agboro is saying, please keep the baby because it's only God that knows what that baby is going to be on earth. When I was dating my wife, she took in and I told her to abort the baby, but she refused. And when she gave birth, it was twins, and they're all boys. God knows the best. Okay. All right. This one is coming in from Joke from Agbado, who says, okay, let me take this call first. Hello, good evening. Please call back if you can. Hello, good evening.
Hello.
Good evening. Thank you for calling.
Hello.
Good evening. Can you hear me?
Yes. Good evening. Yeah, it is I, Joy again.
Okay, Joy. Very
Sorry,
quickly, please. Very quickly.
I ran out of airtime when I called.
Very quickly,
What
please
I
go
actually,
ahead.
okay, what I actually want to say is either she wants to be a homebreaker or not, which is obviously not wanting to be a homebreaker. This man has done his deed already. Deed is done already. If eventually she gets married to this man, the man would someday do the same thing again outside and still promise another woman marriage and bring them home. Be him a Christian or a Muslim. Christians equally get married to more than one wife. But we basically know that Muslims are the one that do that the more. But Christians equally do that. Be him a Christian or a Muslim. If she eventually gets into that home, he would equally go out again and do the same thing. Most men these days now, married men, they go out without their wedding ring. Sometimes even when they go out with it, they pull it off and then put it into their pocket. When they see a beautiful girl outside, they approach the lady and then talk to the lady. You wouldn't know they are married. Only if you look from the inside, then you know they are married. But they would profess love to you and tell you they love you, they want you, and blah 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 like that. And then when it happens like this, then they start giving you, I want to get married to you or I don't want to get married to you. Obviously, probably he might have been telling Ada he wants to get married to her even before she got pregnant or after she got pregnant. But to me, she shouldn't even think about it, like wanting to end up being a second wife for him. Because she should know that if she be a second wife for him, there will be a third wife and there will be a fourth wife.
All right, so I'm going to stop you right there. Joy, we're pressed for time, please. We're pressed for time. I appreciate you calling. Thank you so much.
Yep.
All right, Joy ran out of airtime before, and she called back to add the fact that she still doesn't think that Simi should marry the man, because according to her, these married men do this a lot. And she's saying that in situations like this, he most probably didn't tell her that he was married, and she most probably didn't know about it. So she's saying if Simi agrees to be a second wife now, he's going to repeat the same action with another gullible young lady out there and eventually still have a baby by somebody else. And that makes that person the third wife, and it goes on and on. Again, this may not be the case. We don't know. We don't know the true circumstances of things between Simi and the married man, how they met, how everything unfolded. We don't know. The point remains that this is where we are now. So, what is the action to take? What's the next action to take for Simi? If you've been through this, please, we need your advice. Just Call in, give advice to Simi 07000 917 917. That's the number to call 07000 917 917. Remember, you can also send a text or a WhatsApp message to 0703 175 6537. Okay. Hello, good evening. Hello, good evening. Hello?
Good evening. Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you better. What's your name and where are you calling from?
This is my